everyone, and welcome to Stamp and Chat Live. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. I saw a comment a little earlier about how fun it is that we are just one big worldwide community, and it's so true. We are so grateful for each and every one of you for being here today. Today we're going to have fun because I am going to be making another fancy fold card, but this one is really neat the way it comes together and the way it integrates. It's like an interlocking kind of thing. So I think you're going to like it. It'll be a lot of fun. And I am going to use our kit. Now I know our kit is sold out. Some of you are disappointed about that, but I want you to know that all of these products from the kit will be available starting on July 2nd, and you can buy anything you want a la carte. So maybe some of you only liked one stamp set or the other stamp set. You can have your pick and you can create your own individualized pieces that way. So this is going to be a lot of fun today. Before we get started with the project, though, why don't we say hello to Tom? Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Happy crafternoon.
Oh, look at you, all in cantaloupe over there.
Cantaloupe.
Mango cantaloupe.
Yep.
I like that color.
Yeah, just it's the right day for it.
Looking good. I wore this shirt once before, and we called it a Tim Holtz project.
Oh, yes.
I like this shirt too. I really want to do a card project based on this shirt. I feel like we have enough stamps and things that we could do it. So that's got to be an upcoming video. I'll wait until I've run through a few other shirts though, so it's not exactly the same shirt like 2 or 3 weeks in a row or 2 or 3 days in a row.
Yes, I am shopping for the right shirts to challenge you.
Oh, I love that. I love your color over there. It's making the dead space back there a little more lively.
Yeah, we got to watch that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we do want to let everybody know not to forget. We ask this every time, and it really does help our channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. All right. Let's get started with today's project. So I'm going to make this fancy fold. Let me grab my big paper cutter here because oh, that's awfully close up. Let me back out just a little bit. Oh man, I got to turn my zoom on. My old zoom worked better. I didn't have to turn it on, but this one, I'm learning. Okay. So what I'm going to recommend for this today is to use a piece of layering weight cardstock. And the reason why is because we are going to do a fancy fold and we want it to stay kind of flat. And the heavier base weight cardstock does have a tendency to pop open. We're going to be using enough layers on this that I think it's going to be thick enough for a card. So if you have a lighter weight cardstock, this is our 80-pound white cardstock. I think this would be just perfect. Now this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down to, let's see, we're going to cut this down to 5.5 inches. All right, so it's a little different. You're only going to be able to get one of these cards out of a piece of this cardstock, but we can use the rest of this cardstock for our greetings and our focal images, so it won't go to waste. And then we're going to trim this down to 10 3/4 of an inch. So 10 3/4. I'm going to try to do a template for this that I'll share both in our Facebook group and on our blog on our website. And once I get the template done, I will share it here on the community tab on YouTube as well. So you guys will be able to download that. So don't worry too much about trying to keep up with writing down measurements. That's really the only measurement I'm zooming in again. The only measurement other than the cut line is the 2 score lines, and then you're going to flip it and do the same thing. So I'll get the template done for you guys so you don't have to worry about it. You can just watch today and have fun.
Quick question.
Yes.
Tracy wants to know, she said, you talked about color combinations on Tuesday. Can you tell me what 3 oranges go best together?
Ooh, I'd have to look at my little chart, but I really like honey mustard and sweet mango and faded brick. I like sweet mango, faded brick, and tangerine twist, all 3 of those. I do have a chart that is in our Facebook group, and I will be putting that on our blog too with my favorite 3 color combinations for each of the rainbow colors. I just can't remember off the top of my head. All right, so back to this. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a couple of score lines. So my first score line is going to be at 1 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to score that first at 1 5/8 of an inch. Okay. And this is going to fold out. So I'm scoring this, I'm putting the divot down in there so that when I fold it back, it folds out and I get a nice crease, right? 1 5/8. Now I'm going to turn it upside down and I'm going to score it at 3 1/4 inches because this one is going to fold the opposite way. And we always want our score line to fold away from that divot that we put in. All right, so 1 5/8, 3 1/4. Now I'm going to turn the cardstock over and I'm going to do the same thing again. 1 5/8. And then I'm going to turn it back over again and go to 3 1/4. Let me move it down a little bit. 3 1/4.
Check that first score you did.
Really? Was that not 1 5/8? That's 1 5/8.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So now that I have that done, I'm going to fold away here. Ooh, what happened to my camera? It looks a little bit, maybe that'll clear up a little bit. It looks a little beige, doesn't it, Tom? A little tan. So I'm folding that away and then I'm folding that forward like that. And I'm using the side of my score tool to make that score line. Then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to fold away. And I'm going to fold forward. Okay. So now you can see that is coming together. You know, I don't think that's right though. I may have cut that wrong. Let's see, did I cut that wrong? I sure did. What did I do? Let me try one more time. I want to make sure that I get this right for you. Let's see here. We're going to cut one more. Maybe I have bad paper here. I know it has creases in it. Let's try that again. We're going to cut that at 5 1/2. We're going to make sure this is right because I don't want to, that's why I said don't do anything yet as far as writing anything down. Let me figure it all out. I did make this earlier, so I want to make sure that I am doing it right. Yeah, it worked before. Let me show you the one that I did before, and we'll see what the difference is here. Oh, I know what I did. I cut it wrong. I cut it too short. Okay, so we have that 5 1/2, and I need to go to 10 3/4. See what I did before? I cut a big chunk off. So let's try that one more time. I said it right, but I cut it wrong. I cut it at 10 1/4. 10 3/4. I'm like, no, that is not right. This is the only little strip that should be cut off. Yes, thank you, Evelyn. I didn't notice it. Nobody else noticed it until after I tried to fold it. So let's do that again now. Now we've got this at 5 1/2 inches, and this is at 10 3/4 of an inch. There's no way I was going to try to make that other one work. Yes, I did cut it too short. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our measurements. We're going to go to 1 5/8 of an inch, scoring down into the paper. Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to score it at 3 1/4 inches. This will be great. We're going to turn it back over and then do the same thing on the other side, 1 5/8 of an inch. That might not be a bad card though, the one that I just did. I might try to turn that into something else. And then we're flipping it over and 3 1/4. Okay. Now I think we got it right. Now let's see. Because the reason why that wasn't going to work is what's left in the center has to be 4 1/4 inches. So I'm going to fold this back. Hey, my picture cleared up. I think you did that, Tom. And then forward. And then back. And then forward. Yeah, there she is. Okay. That's what we want. We need that gap in the middle, and when we hold it up, it should be 4¼ inches by 5½, which is an A2 card. We did it! Yay! We did it. Okay. So this is going to be the panel that's going to be our actual card. And it does feel a little flimsy, but we're going to be upholstering in here, and we're going to be putting lots of stuff on the outside. And so if we do both of those things, then it's going to be nice and heavy, and it's going to be fine. You know, you don't have to worry about it. Now, if you want to use heavy base weight cardstock, by all means, go ahead. Don't do this just because I'm saying not to do that. You can certainly do it. I just wanted to let you know that, you know, the lighter weight cardstock saves a little bit of money, and you really don't need that much thickness for the base. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to cut some rectangles. So I have my single stitched and double stitched rectangles here. If you don't have these, you can cut panels. I can tell you the size of the panels that you would cut, all right? So we're gonna cut this one and this one for our inside, our white pieces, and then we're gonna cut the single stitched versions of these for our black layers, because you know that I have to do a black layer. Now, this is all on our website already. You can always go to our website to see what size things are, but this measures 2 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch. And then 2 3/4 inch would make this one 2 7/8 inch. 3 3/4 inch would make this 3 7/8 inch. So that's the one pair. The other pair is going to be 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then this would be 2 3/8 by 3 3/8. Now, I can also put those on the template for you so you don't have to worry about that, but I really like the stitching on this, so I wanted to do it with the dies. So we're going to do a little bit of die cutting here now. You've caught the black layer bug, yay! I'm going to just zoom in a little bit because my table, the little edge of the table, it's hanging over. All right, so let me get a piece of white cardstock here. I have to fix my bra, sorry. Okay, now we're going to cut these two out with the double stitched rectangles. So I'm just going to stagger those a little bit like that. And then I'm going to cut those out. I turned them a little bit on an angle because they go through the die cutting machine a little bit better. Oh wow, you guys are getting the heat wave across the country like we had. And today we're having kind of a cooler day in Wisconsin, but we were up in the 90s too. So stay cool, stay inside and craft. It's the best thing ever. Okay, so I have this one and I have this one ready to go. Now I'm going to cut out a white panel. While I have white cardstock out, I'm going to cut out a white panel. I dropped my cardstock here. And I'm going to use Master Layouts 2 for this because I want stitching on the inside as well. Alrighty. So I'm going to angle this just a little bit, and then I am going to turn my die cutting machine up to make it just a little bit tighter because this die, for some reason, just requires a little bit more oomph for me. Maybe not for everybody, but for me. It could be that my plates are a little bit warped, but I feel like that little extra just makes it cut out nicely. And that has the single stitched edge, which is fine. So next, I am going to get some black cardstock. Let me put this die back so I don't lose it. Put it back in the package. Now I need some black cardstock. So let me find a piece of black in here. And I'm going to trim this one down. Grab my paper cutter. And I'm just going to cut this in half. I know I have some other half sheets around here somewhere, but I don't see them. And must have put them in my very scary basket over there. And now I'm going to cut out, this is on an angle. Is that driving anybody else nuts? There we go. Let's see if I can, there we go. Okay. Now I'm going to cut out the single stitched versions of those two smaller dies. And I don't need it to be quite as tight. I'm going to go back and loosen that up a little bit. The reason that your plate warps, if your plate warps, is because you have the machine set too tight. And sometimes we get in the habit of setting it tight for a certain die, and then we just leave it tight, and then it's going to start to warp the plate. So you really don't need it tight unless you have a die that's just being persnickety. Then you can tighten it up. Okay, so there is one black panel. And here is the other black panel. I'm just getting rid of some of those little frays on the edges, which you can do with the edge of the die. And there we go. So now I need one more black panel, and that is from Master Layouts 2. So I'm going to use the plain rectangle die for that. And this one might be a little persnickety. I think it's just the size of it, so I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. Okay. There we go. Persnickety. Yes, I like that word, Kay. Persnickety. Okay, and there we go. So we've got that panel. All right, so now we've got all of those panels, and it's going to be time to do a little bit of stamping and coloring for our focal image, and then we're going to stamp our greeting. The fun part of this is going to be the assembly, and, well, it's all fun, but I think that it'll be really fun to see how this card comes together and how it opens, and it's just a fun, fancy fold. So now I need some white cardstock, and I did say that I could use this piece again that I cut off the side. So I am going to just cut this in half. I didn't really measure it, so it's not exactly in half, but I just made the pieces a little bit smaller. And I'm going to get my Misty, and I'm going to back up just a little bit, because again, I think I'm a little close there. That looks better. Okay, so I'm going to stamp an image from the kit, and I'm going to use Delicate Flowers again. I just love this stamp set, and I think you guys will too. And if you already have it, great. If not, you can use other stamps for this card for sure. In fact, you don't even need one big stamp. You can create a smaller bouquet with several smaller flowers and leaves. I'm just using this because it is part of our new kit, and I do try to make a commitment to show you lots and lots and lots of card ideas every month with the kit, because I know that that's important to people when you make the investment, that you have lots of ideas. So I always try to do that, and I don't know, I must have made 1 million cards with this kit already. So I'm going to stamp this twice with a little bit of black Onyx ink. Let's get that on there, and then I'm going to stamp it again. I would rather stamp it lightly when it's a delicate image like this. I'd rather stamp it lightly twice than, you know, stamp it real hard and squish it and kind of ruin those delicate lines. So I'm going to do a second one here because we are going to need 2 of these. I know, I think I did 3 cards maybe so far with the fish, and then I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 with this stamp set, and I did a couple cards with the stencil that came in the kit. They're all on my Instagram too. If you have trouble like getting through our Facebook group and trying to find everything, it does make it easy to go to my Instagram account, because after every video I share the cards, and some of them you'll see you have to like kind of slide through because I have more than 1 card on a post. But that's a great place to find the card projects as well. I always share them here on YouTube too. If you're watching on YouTube, I always put them in the on my community tab. So you just go to my channel and click on the community tab. It's really easy to find and then you can scroll through and see all of my high quality card projects. Makes it easy. You don't have to run all over the internet. If you're a YouTube fan, you can just go right to YouTube. If you're a Facebook fan, you can go right to Facebook. We try not to make it too hard for you. Okay, so I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of tape on the back here just to lock that into place. Now for my colors today, I was thinking, I've done this in red, yellow, and blue for my daughter's birthday. I've done it in shades of warm blue and purple. I did a card in purple as well. So I thought today I would use the carnations. We would do something with the light. Where is the medium? I gotta find the medium carnation. Here it is. So maybe the light and the medium carnation. And then I've been doing a lot with jelly bean and fresh asparagus, so I thought I would bring the spruces out for this one and make this card maybe a little bit more subdued. We'll see. We'll see how it works out.
All right, question.
Yes.
Lorena is asking, when my intercut is on the die cut setting, it will not accept it. Am I using too many of the plates, using all 3 plates and a thin die?
Yes, you're using too many plates. You only need 2 plates. You need your cutting plate and you need the white platform. The cutting plate is the gray plate. The other plate is only in there for steel ruled dies, like the old Sizzix dies. That's why it won't fit through. So get rid of that other plate and you'll be fine. All right, so I need a brush for this. Let me get maybe this brush, or maybe I'll even go with a smaller one. This one looks pretty good. I think I'll use this small one. And then I'm going to get a detail brush for this. Okay, so we're going to start with the lightest carnation here.
Question?
Yes.
All right, Shirley says, I'm new.
Well,
and
welcome.
She said, you talk about a kit. What do you mean by kit?
So every month at Gina K Designs, we offer a brand new card kit. And the card kit usually has 2 big 6x8 stamp sets, a couple of die sets, some layering stencils, possibly 2 sets of layering stencils or an extra add-on stencil. Sometimes there's a free gift die set in them. They are packed. They're usually somewhere upwards of $130, $140 value, and our kits are only $59.95. And then once they sell out, they're gone. And we get thousands of them, and they usually last a couple of weeks, and then once they sell out, they're gone. But then we offer all of those individual products for sale during our next release. So some people don't buy the kit because they don't like one of the sets or one of the bundles that are in there. So that's what our kits are. And you can find them in the What's New category at Gina K Designs. Right now you can see the kit because it's there, but it's out of stock, and that's because it's sold out. All right, I'm going to start with the light carnation, and I'm going to start down here at the bottom. You can see I put that layering stencil on there, and I'm just working that color up. Oh, that's pretty. And I'm not going, I'm going all the way up, but I'm getting lighter handed as I get to the top because I really want this to look faded out at the top. We're going to deepen it up at the base of each of these flowers. All right. And welcome to all our new friends, and always welcome to our repeat offenders. Love our repeat offenders that come back over and over again. Some of you were commenting that you've been with me since I started making videos, which has been about, I don't know, maybe 16 or 17 years. It's been a long time. I started making videos before there was YouTube. Our first videos went up on a platform called Vimeo. And actually before that, we were on Google Video, which ultimately became YouTube. So I'm kind of a dinosaur in this industry. So I really appreciate you guys still being here for me. Okay, so we're skipping medium carnation. We're gonna go right to dark carnation. And we're gonna add that down here at the bottom to add some intensity. Just kind of working my way up along the edge a little bit too. Kind of like it would be maybe darker underneath. And then over here, These detail brushes are really nice for this kind of stuff because you can really concentrate the ink exactly where you want it. Okay. And let's see how that looks. I think that's going to look pretty. Yeah, that looks nice. Now, if you're brave and you want to go and do the black pencil trick that you saw in my other video, go ahead and do that. If you haven't seen that video, check it out because it is really fun. And you can use that black pencil on just about any color. Now, you can always also use like a darker version of whatever color you have. So, for example, with this, you might want to go in with a terracotta pencil. See how dark that is? It's very dark. And you could add a little bit of terracotta down here at the bottom if you wanted to, instead of black. So don't be afraid to try different colors, but that whole video was just about black. Okay, so I've cleaned off this stencil with my tidy towel, and now I'm going to do the same thing here, just a little bit of that. I might as well do all these carnations at the same time, and then we can move to the greens. All right, so we're going to line that up and get that in the right spot. Now, I did see a really neat trick that somebody did where they, if you have a black ink that's smeary and you struggle with the lighter colors of ink blending on top of it where it kind of runs your ink, I saw somebody, I think it was Mindy Egan did this. She stamped it in a real pale color like Sandy Beach or something like that. And then she did her stenciling and she left the stamp in the Misty and then popped the cardstock back into the Misty in the same spot and stamped over it with black at the end. So you can do that as well if you have like a smeary ink. But if you use our dye ink for this, it dries so quickly that it shouldn't be a problem. All right, so here we go. Again, this is the light carnation. Very nice. And I'm going to do a little bit more up here. And then we're going to go back in with that darker carnation. You know, like if it's not enough for you, you can always go back and add more. Just my suggestion is it's kind of like cutting your bangs. When you go and you get your bangs cut, it's better to have them cut a little bit and see if you like it. And then if you want them to cut more, they can cut more, but they can't put it back on. With this, you want to go with as light as possible, and then you can always go back and add more, but if it gets blotchy or too dark, you can't really take the ink off, so. All right, now here we go. Dark carnation right along the bottom. I'm coming around the side there. These detail brushes really are fun. I like the way they catch the ink, especially around the edge of the stencil. So like where it kind of sinks in, the bristles just kind of catch and they make a nice darker line in there. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Now this one seems a little light to me, so I can go back with whatever's left on that brush and add a little more in there without really messing it up. Okay. Looking good. Okay, so now I have my pinks done. Very pretty. Pink is so nice. Springy and summery. Although I saw somebody say, happy first day of summer. So I don't know, is today the first day or is tomorrow or I don't know. I know that the 21st, I believe, is summer solstice. So that's the longest day of the year here in the northern hemisphere, which makes me a little sad, to be honest with you. That felt like it went by really fast to think that the days are going to start getting shorter already, but I know we still have a long time. So I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to dwell on the fact that we still have a lot of summer left. Dwelling. All right, let me find another brush here. Here we go. This is a good light spruce brush. And then I need a darker spruce. I might just go with medium this time. All right, same thing. I'm gonna.
It is today.
It is today. First day of summer or summer solstice?
Summer solstice 4:51 Eastern time.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, make the most of every bit of daylight. I mean, it's not like tomorrow it's going to get dark at 4 o'clock. It'll be like 2 minutes difference. But still, I'm going to feel those 2 minutes. Okay, let me get my paper towel. So whenever you have a blending brush that you use on multiple colors or versions of the same color, I always like to just rub it off on the paper towel to make sure we get rid of most of the ink. You can also rub it on a paper towel with a little bit of alcohol on it, and more of the ink will come off, and the alcohol does dry very quickly. But if that bothers you, like alcohol bothers you, then just go ahead with the plain paper towel, or even just a little bit of water is fine. I'm just adding that in there. You're going to find that the Gina K Designs ink does dry up lighter to the color on the lid. So this might look a little dark now, but as it dries, it's going to dry closer to the color of the lid. So with that in mind, you know, if it looks a little dark to you, just give it a little bit of a chance. And it also dries up to an airbrushed finish too. So now I'm going to use the medium spruce, and I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of that down here near the ends of the leaves, down near the bottoms. I don't need to do too much, but it just creates a little shading that's fun. Okay, I think that's good. And again, if you wanted to add the black pencil, you could, or you could find a nice dark green, maybe a deep Christmassy pine color would look really good in here to give that a little bit more dramatic depth. Okay, so I'm going to take this one off, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Again, I'm just wiping it down with my tidy towel. I do tend to like to use alcohol because it does dry really quickly, but these are so small and nothing kind of bled through. Plus my tidy towel is pretty dry, so... I mean, it's not dry, it's damp, but it's not very wet, so it's not going to cause too much of a problem. Get that in place. So I hope you guys are enjoying these stencils for our stamps, because we've got another set of this coming in the next kit. And I know a lot of you really want this kit because you want this stamp set. You're going to like the next kit too. It's different than this, but it's beautiful. So I think you're going to enjoy it. It's unavailable. The kit, no, you will not be able to get the kit anymore. The kit is a limited edition, but you will be able to pick any of the items from the kit and purchase them separately. So I say, if you're on the fence about the kit, you know, because there are some people that are like, I don't know, I need to see a whole bunch of cards first before I get the kit. Usually by then, you know I'm going to make a whole bunch of cards. Usually by then, though, the kit starts to get really low or almost sold out or sold out. So I definitely wouldn't wait too long. But this one lasted a while. It lasted almost 2 weeks, which is a pretty good amount of time. Okay, so I'm adding that medium. And then we're going to be able to die cut these. Now for the greeting, I had used a greeting in one of my other cards that I did from Dina Gerner's set. Her little rabbits. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. I think I'm going to use that same greeting because I feel like for this layout, it's going to work really well. All right, let me clean this quickly and we'll be done with the stenciling. Now, is this my card? Nope, that's the wrong card. Here's my card. There it is. Okay. Hi, Judy. And hello to your great-granddaughter. What's her name? Let's say hello to her. It's great to see you guys. All right, let's get the die cutting machine out. And we're going to cut these out. Oh, I'm glad you like the new kit box. Yes, that's Brian, our graphic designer. He's so creative. He's coming up with so many fun things for us. He's also done some of the graphics for our video too, which is really fun. So now we've got our little subscribe graphic and stuff like that. He's so mega talented, and we are so blessed to have him on our team. Let me find the die. Okay, so here's the die that I want to use for this. And we're going to cut this out. So if you don't have this stamp set, another one that might work is the curved floral banner. Remember that one? A lot of you got that one, and it's got a little bit of a curve to it for making cards that are similar to this. But again, if you don't have any of that, all you need is a stamp and die combination that has some small stamps that you can create your own little cluster of flowers, and that'll work just fine. So let's cut this one out. Thank you so much, Kay, for suggesting the thumbs up. We really appreciate that. The likes really help our channel. What the likes do when you like a video is it helps people who like card making find our channel, because if you like it, then YouTube says, well, maybe some other people will like it too. So we really appreciate you sharing it, because that's what our community is all about. It's sharing. We don't do any gatekeeping in this community. We share everything. And then not only do we share it, but we totally encourage you to, go ahead and copy my design. I want you to, like, in the good way, not in the steely way, but in the card making way. I make these videos because I want you to make this card, and I want you to enjoy this. So we don't do gatekeeping. We like to share. So if you would like to share our channel with anybody, or you would like to give us a thumbs up, that does help. Thank you. Okay. So let's get this out of there. There we go. There's the other one. So now we have two. And I'm going to put these aside, and then we're going to do the greeting and cut that out too. So the greeting that I thought I would use, and I don't know if it's going to be the right greeting, but we're going to try it and see how it works. I make mistakes a lot. So, we try it, and if it doesn't work, we stamp and cut another one. That's all. So I'm going to just take this piece of cardstock. That's my nice cut line there. I just tore it because I knew it would be too big. Our intra-cut, it's going to be another probably 60 days or so before the intra-cut is back in stock. And, it's just because right now the state of our world, they can't get here quickly because they have to go all the way around down past Africa to make it here. I'm going to use I Hope Your Day is as Special as You Are. There's a war going on that they can't sail where they have to sail. So now they charge us a whole bunch more, and they go down where all the pirates are, and it's very scary. Okay, so I think this one's going to work. We will hope. I love the greeting. Oh, that greeting is just beautiful, isn't it? Teresa, this reminds me, we need the word of the day. This might be a great time to do it, because I've got to get the die cutting machine out and cut this greeting out. So maybe Tom could do the word of the day, and then you can share it with your husband later. All right, Tom, what do you think? Do you have a word of the day? Ooh.
It's time for word of the day.
Ta-da!
Okay. Thanks for the idea. Okay, so this is an easy one. So if you have an irrational fear, of running out of tape runner in the middle of a crafting card making session and you have no backups, you have what's called Adhesivophobia.
That's very good. I like that one. I definitely have that.
Adhesivophobia. Word of the day. Back to the dead space.
Adhesive phobia. That's really good. You know, I have adhesive phobia big time, and I bet a lot of the crafters in the chat right now have adhesive phobia too. I have a fear of three things, running out of three things: toilet paper, paper towels, and adhesive. As long as I have those things in the house, I feel pretty good. But if I'm getting low on any of those things, I have to get some. So that's a very good one, Tom. I think we can all relate.
So you missed earlier, I think it was maybe Mary who suggested that we try to come up with a word related to persnickety.
Oh.
And I threw out there paper snickety.
Yeah, that's a good one. Paper snickety. I like that word. Apparently I have a couple words that I'm hooked on right now. All right, so I cut this out using the coordinating die, and all of those dies come in the bundle with this adorable set called Morning Blessings. Love that. Love this set so much. It's so cute. And I haven't even put my dies on the magnet yet because I just jumped right in. It takes me a little while to organize things. I get too excited and I want to play right away, and I don't have the patience to organize. Okay. Marcy, pick me up some. I need some too.
Paper snickety.
Okay, so I cut a couple extra ones of these, and I'm going to glue them together because I do want to make sure that I'm able to have this be nice and stiff, because it is going to be hanging out there, and I don't want it to be too flimsy. So I'm going to glue these together. I forgot to fill my Connect glue, so there's enough though. Okay. So I'm going to glue this one to a plain one.
Want me to get some?
No, I'm fine. There's plenty in here. It's just I have to shake it harder to bring it down to the nozzle. But it'll work. It's fine. Okay, so I'm going to glue these together. Make sure that it's all straight. Yeah, I think that really makes a difference when it's a little bit stiffer. It's more like an embellishment then. And we're going to do one more. Yeah, I like that word of the day, Tom. Good job. I don't know how you keep coming up with them. You and I always talk about that. Like, he has to come up with the word of the day, and I have to come up with a card project. And I'm telling you, after 17 years... Sometimes I'm like, I've made every card. There are no more cards to make. I've made them all. But it's not true, and it's not even remotely true. And then I go into the Facebook group and I see what you guys make, and I realize there is a never-ending plethora of ideas out there. Okay, so that's nice and thick. You see that? So
Not interested in switching jobs, though.
No? Okay. All right, so now I'm going to do a little stenciling on this piece, and this piece. And I didn't know what stencil to use. One I thought I would use that I haven't used for a while is the Harvest Flourish. I love this stencil. It's really elegant, it's soft, and I think it's going to work great for this job. So I need my soft stone ink pad. I like to do this with soft stone. You see me do this a lot, but I think it's just, you see me do a lot of things over and over again, but there's something about them that I just think is really, certain things really look elegant. And even if you do them on a lot of your cards, you know, there are things that we all do that become our signature, like the black layer, right? A lot of you are doing that now. It becomes your little signature thing, right? So this is one of my little signature things that I like to do. Let me get my piece of cardstock here. I just don't want it to shift, so I am going to put a little tape back here and just pop it down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some soft stone and I'm just going to create a light mist of color that doesn't go all the way to the edge. So a little soft stone. I'm going to start in the center. And I'm just going to work my way up and over and down and over. Not going all the way to the edge, but it's just going to create that little haze of texture like that. Isn't that nice? It's just soft. It's really pretty. And then this panel is going to get mounted onto this panel. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And then this is the panel that's going to be the inside of our card. So this is a nice way to decorate the inside of the card to match the outside of the card. We can put any greeting we want in here, or we can just handwrite a greeting. But it's also going to stiffen up the card base a little bit. So we'll do some of that. And we're going to get it as centered as we possibly can, looking at those side score lines. So that looks pretty good. So that's going to close like that, and you'll be able to see just that little bit of gray on the inside. Bemos, no, I'm not required to laugh at all of Tom's dad jokes, but...
Yes, she is. Most certainly.
But I do find him to be kind of funny. All right. And now I'm going to do the same thing to this panel.
I've worn her down over the years.
Yeah, I am worn down a little bit. I got to tell you, I am worn down. And we're going to do the same thing here. A little heavy, and then up, over, down, and over. There we go. Love that. And then this panel is going to get mounted onto the single stitched rectangle. And again, I will put all the measurements for these panels on the template. You have to give me a little bit though. I didn't make this template ahead of time because I just didn't have time. But I will make the template and I will get it up over the next couple of days. Okay, so that is going to be one of my outside panels. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. Yeah, he's always funny. Tom's always funny. Our whole life has been humor. Our whole marriage has been hysterical. I think that's going to be enough gray left on there. I don't really want that to be too dark. We'll see how dark that looks. That's not bad. That looks good. And then we're going to layer these two together. It is, I mean, if you can laugh and you can laugh together, then you'll make it.
Happy Teach wants to know, what are your favorite light ink colors for light backgrounds?
I like soft stone. I like sandy beach. I like sea glass. I like apple mint. I like innocent pink. They're all really great colors. Okay, so now here comes the crazy part. We're going to do the layout. Now, what we're going to do here, let me kind of show you what it's going to look like. This is going to go here, like this. And this is going to go down here, like this. Okay? Then we're going to have... this is going to come around here like this. We have to make sure that none of it overlaps this corner or it won't open properly. So we'll figure that out. And then this one is going to come down here like this. And then this is going to be right in the middle like this. So this is going to be the layout of the card. Did I marry Tom for his sense of humor? Actually, yeah, I think I did, actually. I did, because he's always been funny. And, you know, if you can make me laugh, you have my heart.
Wow. Didn't know I was that funny.
You're that funny. And you see what I'm doing here too is I'm covering the inside. You see that? So I don't want like that to be sticking up. I want to cover it. So that's where I'm going to lay this out. Now remember, I only want to tape this part right here. I can't tape past here or it's going to stick and hold all of that down. So we're going to do the best that we can on that. We want to have enough tape so you can see that tape there. See that shine? Okay. So we're going to use that top inside panel as a guide. And we're going to make it look even here and here. So let's see how that worked out. Looks pretty good. There's nothing there. So that looks pretty good. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing down here, but we're not going to tape this one on. We're actually going to use some like foam squares or some, you can use like the shaker strips for this. So I'm going to get a shaker strip, and you can use foam squares. You don't have to use a shaker strip, but the shaker strips are a little easy for me here because I'm right here. And what we want to do is, all right, we want this to go here like this. But we want to be able to, we can't put the shaker strip any further over than this one, right? So we've got to figure out where it's going to go. And so when we close this, that's where the shaker strip will go, and that will stop that panel right there. See that? So that's where that shaker strip is going to go. All right.
Wow.
And now we're going to put another one in here. Ooh, I stuck that one to the table. We'll put another one along the edge. So we have a little bit of extra shaker strip on there. I'm just using some pieces that I had.
Hey, remember your father's joke? Your comedian father?
What? What was his joke?
Joke about marriage? He said, I don't do marriage jokes because I've been married for over 40 years and I find no humor in it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great joke. He also used to say, do you remember what else he used to say about my mom? He used to say, we probably already told you this, but he used to say about my mom, I take her with me wherever I go. This way I don't have to kiss her goodbye.
Ooh.
I love that. That's so funny. Okay, so again, we're using this as our guide down here. We don't want that to show. And we want to try to make it look as even as possible. So I think right there is going to be good. Okay, there we go. All right, so you see it opens this way. And this can slip under there because the shaker strips didn't come all the way to the edge, like that. Okay, now it is time to put the other things together. So let me get an acrylic block just to hold all of this down. I'll put that there. And let me get another one. And I'll put it here just so that we can kind of look at it and it's not going to move around too much. So the trick now is to get this in a spot where it's not going to get caught up on this rectangle. So I feel like that's a really good spot. It can overlap. You know, you can curve it more that way. And let's get this one in the right spot. This one can overlap as well, like that, kind of mirror them. And then this will go right in the center. So let's get this one tacked down. Now, if you want even more dimension, which is fun, we can use some foam squares to put this one down. So we can do it right on the backs of the flowers, and that will be easy for us to see where we're putting this down. So I'll do just the backs of the flowers, like that. That should be enough to hold it in place. Maybe I'll put one right here too. I'll put like a half of one. I've got some little half pieces. I'll put one there and one there. So that will keep it popped up. It won't sink. but it'll create a little bit more dimension for us. We'll do it like that. Okay, so I'm going to take these off rather. Isn't this fun? It's just a fun card, and sometimes, I mean, I know that you can make beautiful cards that are just plain front cards, but every once in a while it's fun to just do a little interesting.
I like how you're using color, like color, sparingly.
Yeah, it's very soft and subtle, right? Okay, so that is going to go right here. I think that'll be good. Right there. And we don't want to go too far off the edge or it won't fit in the envelope. But if it goes just like a millimeter over the edge, it'll be fine. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Let's get these where we want it. So I need to put a foam square here, 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 and here again. Yeah, there is something a little different about a fancy fold, and it makes it fun for the person opening it. And what's kind of neat about this is it will stand up on its own too, which is nice because sometimes the fancy folds, they don't stand up very nicely and you have to do something else to make them stand up, but this one stands up pretty nicely. I have the tiniest pieces of foam squares laying around here. Okay, there we go, and that's going to go there. All right, here we go. What Master Layouts is the one with the stitching? Master Layouts 2 is the one that I used on the inside with the stitching, but most of our Master Layouts, except one and a couple other ones, most of them have some stitching. So you'll be able to find something you like. Now again, you always want to make sure that it's down when you go to apply your design. I just stuck that to everything to make it consistent. There we go. I think that's gonna look good. Yeah, that looks good right there. And then once you get that down, like you can always add another little piece. You can add another little tiny piece of foam square if something is just like hanging out there and you don't want it to. Let me get a really skinny one. Here's a skinny piece. I'll grab it with this tweezer here if I can. There. So here's a really skinny one. I just trim them and then you could put it on there like that. Sorry. My head got in the way, and then you can, you know, hold things down a little bit more. We could do one over there. Let's do another one. Again, I like to just cut some down so they're super thin for this kind of purpose. And just take your time, you know, and make it what you want. It's okay if you get under there, bend that up. Can even do one in there. I'll do one more just to hold it down. Anything that's like sticking up, popping up weird, just go ahead and add a little bit more foam to it. Okay, so now we have this fun fold, right? And we're going to put our greeting on there. Now the greeting, again, we have to make sure that the greeting only gets attached to where we want it. So we're going to pop this up, but we're only going to go about this far. So I'll kind of use like this as my guide to stop where those two connect, that tiny little spot there where they connect. I'm just going to put foam on the opposite side of that. And you could just glue this on too if you prefer, but I feel like the foam will be good. can't do. I went too far over here. Let me pull that off. I think I need some small pieces. I got them. That'll work. So then this, I think I'm going to take this one off because that's going to go over here. So I'm really just going to attach it in here. Yep, going to attach it here. Let's take a look at that. Should I bring it down a little bit more? I'll bring it down a little bit more, and then I'll put some tape on here so it sticks onto this flower. So we'll just add a little tape right back here. And whatever it sticks to, it sticks to. Okay. So holding everything down and finding that nice sweet center spot. There we go. So now we have our card. Hope your day is as special as you. And then it opens up that way. And you can write whatever you want on the inside. And then it just goes right back in like that. So what do you think? Is that a fun fold? It will stand up. So I don't know if you can see. Let me put this on a box, Tom, and let me see if you can go to the front shot. I'll put it on my Misty, and here's what it looks like standing up. So, you know,
yes,
it stands up on the shelf so they can display it, and then you get a little peek into the decorations on the inside. But there you go. Fancy fold. An interlocking fancy fold.
Wow, how did you do that?
And again, I will definitely get the measurements on there for you all so that you have that. And you can make this card too. What do you think? I'm going to clean up my mess here, all my foam square bits. There we go. Look at that. Here, I'll zoom in a little more to get rid of that. All right, Tom, I think that we have to give away a gift card.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah?
Gift card.
That's fun. My camera's tilted a little bit, so that's why you can see the black, but normally if you're looking straight on, it'll look like that when it's open.
Right.
Just so you guys know. The camera's kind of tilted down forward so my head doesn't get in the way too much, but okay. So, Tom.
All right, we're giving away a gift card
Yes,
to
we are.
GinaKDesigns.com. Right?
We are, yes.
Okay. And cheesy drum roll, please. Here we go. It's timpani.
Ooh.
And the winner is Terri Dunnington.
Yay, Terri!
Dunnington.
Congratulations, Terri. All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@GinaKDesigns.com, and we will get that right out to you. And if you like Facebook and you want to join our Facebook group, you can visit us at Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. Just search that over at Facebook and you'll be able to join our group. Just make sure you answer the questions and you agree to the rules, because we try to keep the spammers out. And we want to make it a safe place for everybody. And then if you like some of the products that you've seen here, you can head over to our website at GinaKDesigns.com, and you can find the inks and the stencil, all of these dies. And get onto the notify me for the, well, I don't know if that's going to help, but you'll be able to look at what's new, and you'll be able to kind of feel out our website so that when our next release happens, this stamp set and die set will be back on the website a la carte. All right, everybody. Well, this was so much fun, and we hope that you had a great time. We certainly had a great time with you. Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night with another Stamp and Chat Live. And in the meantime, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much. And mwah, we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.